I purchased almost 3 acres of land in the high mountain deserts of California, and I want you to go on the journey with me as I transform this into a desert oasis. That was a clip of our wind chimes that we keep on the land because it is always windy, so might as well make music out of it. What you're looking at now is the mountain that we're going to go to collect rocks for our Zuni bowl, which is a type of work that we do with the earth to capture water. But before I get into all that, I want you guys to show some love to the kids because they put in lots of work today. We've made it to the mountain, and this place is just flooded with all different shapes and sizes of rocks, which makes me so happy because the amount of rocks that I collected today will turn out to be hundreds and hundreds of dollars if I would have bought it at some store. This is straight from the land that we are standing on, and it is given to us by nature. This entire project is supposed to be showing you guys how to rebuild the land sustainably. So the fact that I'm able to sustainably utilize these rocks and not have to buy new ones that were mined makes me really happy. Here's a look at the hard work that these kids put in, and those $4 I gave them were well deserved. Here are the rocks that we collected, beautiful shapes, and we barely even scraped the surface of the land. There's still so many trips to be made. For these bowls, I want different sizes. I want the bigger sizes to be on the bottom and the smaller ones as it goes up. These bowls are very unique. I learned them from a creator over here on YouTube. I'll be tagging his channel down in the comments so that you guys can see the project that he's up to. And it's very similar to mine, where he's re-greening the desert. These Zuni bowls act almost as cereal bowls in nature. You carve out a piece of the land, fill it up with a bunch of rocks, and it slows the flow of water, and it helps the water penetrate the soil better. This is going to lead to more moisture being in the soil, and I'm going to do mine a little different than the other creators that I've seen doing it. After I am done lighting it up with rocks, what I'm going to do is take a mix of mud and manure and plaster it over the rocks in the bowl. I'm going to be putting seeds in this manure mix, and when it does start raining and it starts flooding it up, by the time the rain is gone, the seeds will have been sprouted. And the seeds are going to be grasses and wildflowers that are native to the lands that adjust with the climate, adjust with the heat of the desert. And I'm doing it all for, well, these guys, the paw prints that you see on the land. It's beautiful to see that animals are coming through, utilizing what we've already built, maybe utilizing the compost that we have or the different plants that we've grown. Because at the end of the day, it is for them, it is for the local ecology, and to bring up the biodiversity of the land once again. So seeing these footprints makes me very happy that the work that we are doing is being appreciated by others. Here is another trip back to get some rocks, which was easily the most tedious part of the day because it wasn't an easy walk. A majority of the soil is really sand, and so this wheelbarrow just sinks in, and the heavier it gets, the deeper it sinks, so the harder it is to pull. You have a child most likely sitting inside of the wheelbarrow who is already 30-40 pounds. And then you have dozens of pounds of rocks. So back and forth, I probably walked about half a mile with just the wheelbarrow and rocks and kids. But we kept finding gold. There were so many of these little patches of rocks that we can take from. And slowly and surely, I saw the Zuni bowl kept getting fuller and fuller, and it just made me even more motivated to go back. But I'm not gonna lie, I was exhausted. It was almost 100 degrees that day. The heat was just scorching. But luckily the time that we came, the sun was on its way down, so it only got better. So back to the Zuni bowl. What I'm hoping to get out of it is for these seeds and these native grasses to grow through these rocks, die on top of the rocks during the summer, and then grow back again in the fall and winter time. And this process of growing and dying back, and the wind tossing the sediment inside the bowl, and the water putting the sediment on top of the rocks, over time you are building up the soil with these natural organic materials that are these dead plants. I will also fill up the Zuni bowl with a little bit of mulch from our compost, which will only enhance the building of the soil. Over time, and with the help of hopefully you guys and other volunteers, I create many Zuni bowls on these 3 acres, and each Zuni bowl will hopefully turn into almost like a pot for a plant. Because it's dug into the ground, it'll be protected from the wind, it'll be protected from the elements, and it's able to capture water way easier. And this is what I mean when I say that we can have these plots of land work for us and work with us over time. All of these bowls and these earthworks and these things that I'm doing now are only going to save me time and materials in the long run. Eventually, nature is going to be filling up these Zuni bowls with sediment and with proper soil, with organic material filled soil. All that came from the little amount of work that I'm putting in right now. With the rainy season coming up, we are expecting monsoons and these big rain events. So I want to be able to build as many bowls as possible before that comes in about October. So I only really have a month and a half before the raining season starts. And by then, I should have many different earthworks in the ground where I'm able to capture the water. Because if I miss it, then I'm gonna have to wait until next season. Because it really just doesn't rain here. We probably get 7 to 10 inches a year max. And it all comes within just a couple of months in the winter and the fall time. So I will be leaning heavily on the community, heavily on the people who are around me for their services, because this is not something that I can do by myself, nor is it something that I want to do by myself, because this is for community and to teach them how to reconnect with the land again. And this is for my family, so that years down the line, they can see the work that I put in and be able to benefit from it. And not just financially or with materials, but with wisdom and knowledge that was passed down to them as they helped me work on the land. And here is the last trip of the day before we headed out. And as you can see, we didn't fill up the bowl. It took many different trips back to the mountain, and I felt like we barely scratched the surface of the bowl. But I absolutely love the progress that's being done, and I'm excited to share with you guys the effects and the results from these bowls being built out. As I learn more about earthworks and ways to design the land, I am reminded of humans' ability to be the landscapers of the world. I am reminded of the role that humans are supposed to be playing. I am reminded that we are the true gardeners of the land, and how we have the power to either destroy it or build it up. Here is the last look of the bowl, and you can see it start filling up, and you can see the vision. If videos like this excite you, or if you just want to tune into the journey, then go ahead and leave a comment and tell me one thing that you learned from this video or from this series. And I will see you guys next week for another one.